Hi everybody, Kathy here from Kathy Loves a Scrap, and it is Sunday and I'm coming to you from the land down under today to create this amazing layout which is part of our Scraplift Crafternoon weekly hop here on YouTube every Sunday. And with the very talented ladies, we're lifting Nicole Santos today because we love to scrap, and this layout is how it comes together. So I just want to say thank you to the wonderful people who have invited me to be part of this hop, and I'm thanking you once again for joining in and having a look at what we've been doing this week during our Scrap Lift Sunday. Alright, so I am pulling together bits and pieces to create this layout. Now I had this heart done in the blue, but I'm going to change it into a pink colour to match the rest of my layout throughout this. I have bits and pieces that I'm going to add in just like Nicole has on her layout, and I'm actually using 3 photos from my daughter's wedding to make it. I did pull out this die here because I had intended to put a photo tab in, but then in the end I chose not to. My photos of course being larger than what Nicole used. I've got some wood grain, and I have this double-sided Kaisercraft one, and I have this beautiful 49er Market base that I'm going to start with. And originally I thought I was going to use that back side, the B side, but when I start working on it I realise I really do like the front side, and it tones down the colours in the layout. So I'm going with side A, and that's where I'm started. Now Nicole has her layers torn, and so I am just prepping those here, and as you can see my photos, I'm just laying them out to make sure that they fit across, and I'm tearing off 2 extra strips which will be tucked in at the top and at the bottom, and I'm having the white facing showing like Nicole does in her layout. Now I want this branding strip at the bottom because it has 2 quotes that I'm going to use, and now Nicole has these cute little pockets that are holding her photos, so they are like open nets of envelopes, and that's what I'm going to create using this wood grain paneling in this paper. So I'm changing out to my embossing blade, and that way I'm able to put in my embossing marks so that I can create the folds that will give the same illusion as an envelope fold. And that's a quick and easy way, if you don't have little envelope pockets, to create them for yourself. And so I am just folding back the folds, and I'm then going to measure them just so I know what size I need to add in the extra flap that I'm going to need to create that illusion of an envelope. I'm cutting in a wedge here so that I have the dip in the envelope, and I then have cut these 3 strips which are going to go to the bottom, and I'm cutting those into a triangular banner type shape, which I am then going to add to each of those pockets to create that overall image of an envelope. To do that, I'm roughing up the edges just as Nicole has on all of hers, and I'm just distressing them using the distress tool. Now remember, if you don't have a distress tool, you can always use a pair of scissors or your nails. I will show you using your nails later on in this layout because I forgot to rough up an edge on something, so I had to go back. I prepared the photos by distressing them using the distress tool, and I actually need to trim them down when I start laying this layout out because the pockets are a little bit wider with those extra flaps, and you'll see that I'll have to alter those in a couple of seconds. So just showing that even the best laid plans go awry, and we have to actually adapt on the go. So I've taped all my papers so that now I can just lay them down, and as you can see I have an awful time with this tape. The little bits of paper that get stuck just are a bit annoying at times, but I'm not sure why they're doing it. It's just that they're sticky to that double-sided tape perhaps. I'm just tucking that one in underneath, so now I have got my centerpiece, and I realise now that my envelope pockets are a little too big, so I'm going to have to trim them down, which also means that the 2 external photos I'm going to need to trim down. And I'll take another 1/4 inch off and rough them up using the distress tool, as you can see here. Now, if I use the top blades of the distress tool, it's not as sharp as the bottom blades, and they actually just distress photos very, very well. And as you can see, I'm just folding in those folds so that that pocket has the same appeal across, and I'm using the scorched timber to distress it so that it gives the aged look, and the folds of the pocket are highlighted for this layout. Now I'm going to tuck these photos in before I put them down. This one is on the slant, just as Nicole has for hers, and I'm putting mine in with a slant as well. When I scrap lift, I pretty much follow the elements as closely as possible. I like to pay homage to the artist. And yes, I do put things in as mine and make them into mine, but I really do try to stay true to that layout for the purpose of lifting that person. So I now am putting in my pockets. Now I don't normally use a ruler, but I just wanted it to be somewhat straight, so I have put the ruler down to make sure that that bottom edge is, well, pretty much straight. As I walk through it, I get this feeling it's not, but it is. It's just the way the photos are, and it gives that optical illusion that it's not straight, but it really, really is. Now I have this frame, and it's from Alt and New, and it's perfect colour for this paper. So I've decided that I'd use that tucked in behind this main photo like Nicole has on hers, and I'm putting some pop tape there just to lift it up so that it is the same level as the photo, and then that allows me to use the bottom half of that frame down on the pocket like Nicole has with hers. I found a branding strip or a zip strip that I had in my stash that were the right colours. And you can see here that I'm just using my nails this time to rough up the edges, because I'd forgotten to do that before I put it down on the paper. But that shows you how quick and easy it is to use your nails just to give the same effect. Now that this is in place, it marries nicely with how Nicole has it on hers, and that adds that follow through for that framing of that photo. I'm now also going to start building up the clusters, and I'm pulling together all the little bits and pieces that I have. This heart here, as at the beginning, it was blue, if you remember. What I've done is I've added some barn door distress oxide spray to it, and because it was the blue, it's dried in that pinkish shade, which is perfect for this layout. Couldn't have managed that if I tried harder myself. Because it had the weathered wood underneath, I think that's why it's worked out so beautifully and come up the correct colour. I have started pulling out these petaloo flowers that I've had stashed for a while, and I'm going to use them on this layout because it is a wedding layout, and it is going in my daughter's wedding album. So I do want to add a little bit of more zhuzh to it that I normally would on a layout. So these flowers are perfect. They're in the right colours, and they're allowing me to add. Now you would have seen that I was playing with the stem just then, and what I do is I use my awl to wrap the stem around and give it a bit of a curl. That adds a little bit of extra interest to the flower cluster when you put it together. That strip was off that original paper, and it has 2 quotes on it that I have put in there, as this is their wedding page, and I'm just putting that where Nicole has got hers on her layout. Now mine are a bit longer, but that's okay. That's where my individuality comes in, but it is the same elements in the same spacing to allow for that lifting to be very similar. As you just saw there, I am using Victorian Velvet Distress Oxide Stain or Distress Ink here, just to ink up those flowers to bring the colours in together, so that I have that pinky colour or the pinky tone running with the white. I'm just going to tuck in here at the back some labels, just as Nicole has in hers as tuck pieces. That adds a little dimension to the layout. It also adds some interest, and it allows for anchoring of the extra pieces that I'm putting there. The title together is a chipboard title that I have gotten from Scrapbook Fantasies, and I have coloured it with the weathered paint and the barn door distress oxide spray and allowed to dry, and as you can see it's come up in that beautiful tone, perfect for this page. I'm just gluing everything down, and I use a tacky glue because that allows me to move it around for a little bit, but it also holds very, very well. With the butterflies, they also are old and new, and I'm just going to add those on a pop dot so that it stands up and pops out. Alright, so that's how that's all going to come together, and I'm putting that butterfly in there as a part of that cluster to build it up. I have the quotes going in down there, and I've added in those labels just to build that reference point. Now I have finalised this bottom corner. I'm going to add in the 2 flowers, and I did put a lot of glue there to hold, and that's because these are bulky flowers and I don't want them falling off the layout in the future. The final flower at the top just pulls it all together nicely and emulates everything that Nicole has on hers. And just behind this title here, I'm going to tuck these little rosebuds, and I think they look beautiful and they're the right colours for this layout, and it just finishes off that title so that it all ties together as part of the whole outlook for this whole layout. So every little piece has a place, and every little piece needs to go into the appropriate spot so that it all fits nicely. Alright, so the last thing I need to do is I'm just using a little bit of glue to make sure that that title is adhered properly. And I'm going to put in my final touches with another butterfly here in this cluster. And then I'm also going to put one here down on the bottom of the frame, just so that I have 3 butterflies on the layout. I have 3 focal points, and if you actually look at this layout, it's got a diagonal from the top left to the bottom right, which is perfect. I'm tucking in a little heart into the bottom of that cluster to make it fuller, and then I'm putting the arrow there where it points to my daughter and her husband, just under the title. So looking at the layout, as per usual, I can't cope with the white edge just being white, so I'm using the Victorian Velvet just to distress the edges and to finalise it. And there we have my layout and my lift of Nicole's fantastic layout that we have chosen for this week. All the girls who are playing along, all their details are down below. Thanks, Nicole, for allowing us to lift you. It is a great layout, and I'm sure everybody is going to have a great interpretation. There's all the details up close and personal. You can check it out in the close-ups coming very soon. Make sure you go to my description box down below, click on that playlist and go and have a look at what everybody else is doing this Sunday. Here they are. You can see those rich colours coming out, the flowers that have been distressed, the title that has been inked, those little cute rosebuds and the adding in of the butterfly, and how that flower in the top corner has been adjusted to meet the colours of the layout. And this is another wedding layout for my daughter's album. I thank you once again for staying through to the end and watching this video. I hope that something here inspires you to get creative this Sunday. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap. Thank you once again for all my subscribers who have returned. You really are appreciated, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button, do so now for my next one that will come shortly. Leave me a comment. I really do appreciate all the feedback. It makes me happy that you're engaging with the content. You can find me on my socials under Kathy Loves to Scrap, including Instagram, where all my layouts end up, even those without a video. Thank you once again for watching. Happy scrapping, and check out the next video.